Hello there. Thanks for joining me in a rather gloomy Sussex today. I hope you're all well. Today I'm going to return to a topic that we've talked about seemingly forever. And I had a very lengthy conversation on the topic of container ship fires last year with Peregrine Store's Fox TT Club. Container ships are getting bigger and bigger. The latest generation of 24,000 TEU, and their size seems to be limited mainly by how big they can be to get through the Panama Canal. Of course, these very big ships have restricted port access. Most terminals can't handle them anyway, but they run a very important service. But owners, container ship lines in particular, and their underwriters are concerned about the spate of container ship fires that seem to happen with quite depressing regularity. And it's very difficult to address the problem. My feeling is that the reason that it can't be addressed, or it doesn't seem to be able to be addressed, is that, frankly, there are just so many participants in the maritime container trade, from not just the container lines and the way they operate, and the slot sharing agreements and conference arrangements and so on, but the various shoreside players, not just the shippers and freight forwarders and the terminals themselves, and those who are involved in packing and stuffing containers, getting the containers to port, taking them off again, all that sort of thing. I mean, there are dozens of players involved in any particular shipment, can be anyway. And so it's very difficult for anyone to have control of the problem. TT Club reckon that there's, on average, a major container ship fire every 60 days. That's 6 a year on average. Last year there were 9. Whether that's an indication that things are getting worse, or is it just a blip, we don't know. We'll find out. And of course, as ships get bigger, the potential financial losses are enormous. The last big one that I can think of off the top of my head, Maersk Honam, the damage to the ship alone came in at around $30 million. And once the claims for all the lost cargo come to an end, that's going to be in the millions of dollars, I'm sure. Worry is, of course, that one of these big ships, if it were to suffer a disastrous fire that consumed the entire cargo or even sank the ship, the insured losses could run into billions of dollars. But like I say, it's proven difficult to address the issue, even though we know that most of the fires start in misdeclared or undeclared dangerous goods. And if they're undeclared or misdeclared, it's very difficult for those involved in the trade to address the issue. Various associations, including the International Union of Marine Underwriters and the International Chamber of Shipping, have tried to impress upon their members the importance of good procedures and good practice in dealing with potential fires on container ships. But more recently, in fact only a couple of weeks ago, the National Cargo Bureau weighed in on the subject. Now, the National Cargo Bureau, NCB, as some of you may know, is a not-for-profit organisation that's charged, in large part of it, its activities are undertaking inspections on behalf of the US Coast Guard. And it's the US, frankly, which is the only country that's getting anywhere close to its obligations imposed by IMO to undertake container inspections. Excuse me. Pollen, probably. Some coffee. Anyway, NCB has now published a white paper on the subject, which is the first thing I've seen that actually comes up with a concrete set of implementable changes. It's addressed primarily at container lines, but of course, one of the things that it does do is stress the importance of communication through the supply chain. And it picks up on something that TT Club and others have described as a holistic approach to safety by looking at the whole end-to-end chain. And so, for instance, while the 12 steps, there's a 12-step program it offers, the 12 steps to containership heaven. It starts with having a robust culture in the line itself, and so that all employees and subcontractors, I assume, know they have a responsibility for complying with the procedures and processes that are in place. And of course, again, and this keeps coming up, and it's come up since the Texas City explosion. The Baker report said it, Bunsford report said it. We've talked about it at EPCA in terms of digitalisation, is that leadership has got to come from the top. And the corporation needs to have a finely delineated dangerous goods policy and make sure that everybody complies. And that policy should include, NCB says, a dedicated dangerous goods unit within each line. That because there is this tendency for responsibility to end up in different silos, and sometimes it says it's hard to find out who has responsibility. You make somebody purely responsible for the dangerous goods operations, then the buck stops with them. So they're going to make sure they get it done. And again, that's got to have full authority of the senior management. Obviously, training comes into it, and NCB says, a cut-off time for booking dangerous goods is important to give that department the opportunity to interrogate dangerous goods documentation and make sure that it looks all right. NCB also recommends incorporating and integrating digital tools to automate critical compliance functions, including a tool to screen bookings for potential undeclared or misdeclared dangerous goods. That's something that some of the lines have already put in place. And a risk-based strategy for storage of dangerous goods. I'm sorry, I'm looking over here because this is where I've got, it's a long document, right? And an in-gate process for receiving dangerous goods, so that the markings and placardings can be checked off against it. Anything that doesn't match ought to be flagged up and viewed as suspicious. And establish a dangerous goods container inspection program. I mean, it's very sensible to validate the other findings, and a vessel inspection process to foster good communication. This is where we come back to communication between the vessel, the terminal planners, and the shipping line planner during the stowage process. And NCB also wants to see one common centralised dangerous goods database that the whole of industry can access and update on an ongoing basis. I know this is something that Access Technologies has been working towards. Perhaps no surprise then that NCB actually acquired Access Technologies a couple of years ago. And NCB stresses that digitised tools and centralised databases are going to be a critical component of any program. As I said, I think this is a really valuable document, and something that all lines in particular, but also freight forwarders, really need to take a look at and make sure that they have the tools and the aptitudes and skills in place to put those 12 steps into practice. And with any luck, hopefully, we can look forward to a reduction, if not elimination, in container fires at sea. That's me for this week on that topic. I'd just like to mention, for those of you watching, HCB is currently putting together its big North America issue of the year, which will be a combined an August issue, in fact. So if there's anything you want to raise, any questions, any stories you have, you want to talk about North America, and not just in light of COVID-19, drop me a line, let me know. It'd be good to hear from you. I hope you've enjoyed this week's little video, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.